We're live. Hi, everybody. I've been looking forward to doing this live stream for a while because it comes up from time to time in the groups about using a co-parenting app. And if you don't know what this is, or if you're already using one and you would like to learn how to really use it to its full advantage, I think you're going to enjoy this. So, yeah, if you're just hopping on, say hello. I always like to know who's here. Feel free to put your questions in. I'll be able to see them as we go, hopefully. And yeah, I'm in both groups right now. I'm in the stepmom group and in the one for the dads group. So you'll be able to see this video until Friday evening when I'm going to take it down, and it will become eventually part of a paid program. So the irony of calling these things co-parenting apps is that if you're really co-parenting, you probably don't even need them. These are really almost parallel parenting apps, or these are, and by app, I'm talking about it's a real app that you put on your smartphone that you buy in the App Store. Hi there, whoever's there. It's a real app that you get from the App Store. You put it on your phone, and it is a management tool for really for high conflict situations. Of course, it's great for families that are really, co-parenting and cooperating. It can be a wonderful thing to have all of your important information in one place, and that you're not missing any messages, and that your schedule, your calendar is there. And, yes, it could be wonderful for co-parenting, but mostly I see the benefit of this as being especially useful for high conflict situations. Hang on just one second. Okay, got a noise control. So it's a management tool for high conflict post-divorce parenting situations. The main things that it does for you right away is to reduce trivial or harassing calls and texts. So if you're getting like a lot of messages or nasty messages, or just sheer volume of useless messages, you can kind of corral them all in one place, so that, as I said to one of my clients this morning, you can kind of keep her in a box and lift up the lid every once in a while to see what's going on. You don't have it like bleeding out into every corner of your life that she's intruding. Okay, I think it's a great way for keeping your ex or bio mom, however you want to refer to her, from intruding so much into your present household. Definitely it helps to establish healthy boundaries with your ex, and that's a really good thing for your new family, because very often we're talking about somebody that you split up with because you didn't have good boundaries, or you couldn't make good boundaries with somebody like that. And now, now that you're in a new relationship with someone, you have to protect that person and the people in your household from the influence of this person that you divorced, because you don't want to live with her. So you don't want to divorce her and then bring her along into your new house. It's an excellent tool for managing a narcissistic person, or someone with those kind of narcissistic personality tendencies, or someone who engages in what we would call narcissistic relationship tactics. Also borderline personality, those kind of people who don't respect boundaries very easily. Great tool for that. It's an excellent proactive tool to protect you and to save you money if there's going to be any kind of future court situation. And because you never know, it's always good to be careful. And we'll talk later on now about exactly how these things can protect you. They have all of them have a calendar function. I'm going to talk about 2 programs in particular today. But I think all of these apps have a communal calendar function, which means that you have your calendar together in one place, and one person is not changing it and not letting the other person know, or changing it and you miss the message, or that you didn't get the updated version or whatever. The calendar is there and it doesn't go anywhere. At least one of these programs has a function that allows you to check in when you're at the pickup or drop off location, so that you kind of get proof that you were there. So there's kind of a, I don't know if it screenshots your location with Google Maps or whatever, but you can prove that you were in this place at a certain time because your phone is there. So that can be very useful. There's even a function, one of them has a function called tone meter, that will actually correct the tone and the wording of your messages so that they're not too emotional, that they're not hostile or inappropriate in any way. So that if either you or your ex-partner have a tendency to get into a heated kind of discussion, for $10, you can have this extra function that highlights words or phrases that you should reconsider, and it will prompt you with a better way of saying that. So it definitely promotes more polite conversations, less emotional interactions, and that's a really good thing, no matter who you are or what's coming up. And they reduce opportunities for confusion or for mix-ups, for missed messages, because everything is happening in a central location. And what often happens with like ex-couples who are dealing with kids, sometimes there are phone messages, sometimes there are phone calls that you forget to make a note of. Sometimes things come in a text message or on a Facebook Messenger or on a WhatsApp or, on Snapchat. I mean, there are so many possible channels for sharing information. Sometimes it's really hard to keep track. And it could be in somebody's interest for you to not keep track. Like there could be some people are driven by creating chaos and they enjoy that. And sometimes it's just our busy lifestyle that makes it chaotic or hard to keep track of things. So I'm going to talk about the 2 main, let's say my 2 favorite versions of a co-parenting app. One is called Talking Parents. The other one is called Our Family Wizard. I know there are lots of others. There's one called Coparently. There's one called AppClose. I can't think of the others off the top of my head. These 2, Talking Parents and Our Family Wizard, seem to be the ones that get the best reviews consistently. Whenever this comes up in our group, I often ask people to let us know which one they're using and how they like it. And these 2 seem to be kind of the best of the lot, just in terms of what I've heard. So if you're using another one and you're happy with it, don't change anything. So I'm going to quickly go over some of the features of these 2 apps in particular, and then we'll talk about how to use them strategically. In other words, I'm almost going to say off-label use of these parenting apps for, to move your whole circumstance forward, okay, to improve your family dynamic and your connection with your ex. And we'll also talk about how to get the ex to agree to do this, because very often I hear the story like, my husband would love to use this app and we just can't get her to agree to do it. So we'll talk about that too. So first of all, the one called Talking Parents. Talking Parents and Our Family Wizard are different companies, and they both offer kind of the same thing. It's like cell phone plans. How it's really hard to compare them because they offer different amounts of phone and data and whatever other kind of extras. So Talking Parents is offering the advantage of, the idea is that you send all your messages to each other through this app, okay? And the messages can't be changed. They can't be altered in any way, and they get time-stamped. So Talking Parents does have a not telephone, but it's like a voice over internet, like you can talk. There can be actual voice calls if you like to do that, and voice recorded messages. Lots of people prefer not to have any voice calls because those tend to degrade into shouting or insults or whatever. But if you do like to do that, like if your conversations are relatively cordial, then sometimes it's just easier to have a phone call or leave a phone message. The messages and the calls are time-stamped. So that means that, first of all, it's really important to say that these programs are approved by the court system. The family courts are very, very aware of co-parenting apps, and judges often insist on them. So they are absolutely understood to be really good tools for this kind of situation. And that everything that's recorded there is admissible in court. That's why they're so nice, so that you don't have to make screenshots and photocopies of emails and all of that stuff, which at the end of the day can always be a little bit suspicious, because let's be honest, like it wouldn't be all that hard to falsify a series of text messages, or to get in and alter some words in an email. If someone really wanted to do that, they could do it pretty easily. So these things it comes directly as a PDF from the app. You download a PDF and it has all the messages time-stamped. I know that for sure our Family Wizard, I'm not sure if Talking Parents does this as well, but they also stamp when it was read, so that someone can't later on say, I never got that message. Talking Parents has a free version. If you use the free version, you have to pay $50 if you ever want to access the PDF file of all of your messages. So that if you don't expect to ever need it, and it's kind of a light situation, and it's just, for kind of corralling the communications, then you can use Talking Parents for free. You can do these phone calls without revealing your phone number. So sometimes that's really useful. It's something that is a bit like WhatsApp. If you've ever done a phone call over WhatsApp, that you sign up for the service, but you don't have, the other person doesn't get your phone number. You have a contact link. So you can engage in phone calls without your ex-partner having access to your actual phone number, which could be a really valuable thing, right? The other thing about the phone calls, if you use the paid version of Talking Parents, which is either $6 a month, or the premium is $20 a month if you want all the functions. But the premium version includes recordings and transcripts of all the phone calls. So once again, like if you ever need to prove some kind of harassment in family court, you would have this wonderful body of evidence to present, the recordings and the transcripts of phone calls. If it ever comes to, like I said, threatening or otherwise hostile messages, you have access to all of that. And when we're talking about paying tens of thousands of dollars for custody cases and things like that, like $20 a month is not a very big deal to have access to something that could really turn the tide in your favor. The shared calendar, I think that's obvious. And some of them have a color-coded calendar where you see that these are my days, these are her days, or whatever. It's really easy to see whose time different activities are happening on. And there is a send money function in both of these apps, so that you can be even sending the child support payments, or you can be reimbursing your half of the hockey uniform or the soccer sign up money or whatever it might be. All of that can go through the app, and all of the payments actually happen through the app, and all of the receipts and everything like that are handled there as well. Our Family Wizard is maybe a more premium product in that there's no free version. It's $99 a year for each person. There is a free version, I should say, if you are using any kind of legal aid, if you're on any kind of government assistance. There's a military discount for Our Family Wizard if you qualify for that. So there are ways to definitely to reduce the cost of it. But again, $200 a year, even if you're paying for both parties, is really not a lot of money in the bigger picture of what it costs to be in a custody, an ongoing custody issue. So Our Family Wizard definitely has the color-coded schedule days on the calendar, and it has a button right under the calendar that says request a trade or swap. So that's super easy to do. There's like a function on it where you just press the button to request a change to the scheduling. It doesn't always have to happen through a particular message that you write. So that might be useful for you. Of course, there's the usual message board. This one in particular is time-stamped for when the person has viewed the message. And if you're having trouble with your ex saying, oh, I never saw that message, I didn't get that message, or whatever, this could be really useful to be able to say, I can see that you viewed the message 2 weeks ago. Like maybe you forgot about it, but it's right here that it was read. Our Family Wizard is the one that has the tone meter trademark that identifies and flags emotionally charged phrases. So like this could really, it could change your life, first of all, to be not receiving such like hysterical or difficult messages. But it could also really, it could help you too to have a smoother relationship with your ex if you could have some help to write a message in a better way that's not likely to inflame somebody else and rain down hellfire on you. This is something that I do with my clients. I help them to write better emails to their ex, but you can get this for $10 a year from Our Family Wizard. It's an add-on, so it doesn't come with the $100 a year. You have to pay extra for it, but again, it's not a very big expense. This one does those check-ins where I guess you just push a button that marks that you were here. I was at the corner of, Pine and Vermont at 12 o'clock on Saturday, as I was supposed to be, and you're not here or whatever. But you were there. Nobody can say that you didn't show up. So again, that's something useful. And this one also has a payments option to be able to send money directly through the app, which has a great benefit, as we'll talk about in a moment. So the more strategic or high level way to use this kind of app beyond just moving all of your communication into this box that you can keep closed and peek inside of when you want, the next step, okay, is to use this to record conversations about things that you might not normally talk about. But let's say that BioMom is consistently doing something that you can't stand. Let's just say that like you keep buying clothes and they keep staying at her house, and the kids come back in torn, ill-fitting clothes, and you get them more clothes, and then again they come back without the clothes that you sent, and after some months, you're kind of getting cheesed about this. So you can open a conversation and say, I'm noticing that, you know, I've bought these items, the, you know, new coat, new boots, whatever it might be, and that the kid keeps coming without them. Can I ask you to have a look around your place and make an effort to send them back? And she might say, don't know what you're talking about, or mind your own business, or, you know, you never sent those things, whatever. But it's possible to have the conversation so that that topic is now on the record, right? It's on the record, and she has to respond in some way to what you're talking about. So you can start a conversation about how, you know, the homework isn't getting, you know, the projects aren't getting done at your house, and it's always on me to scramble and get it done at the last minute. And can we do this in a different way? So it's an opportunity to put certain topics into the record, if you get what I'm talking about, so that your communication about it is now, you know, ready to present to the court. And it doesn't have to be something where you just complain that this is happening and then she says, no, that's not true, it happened differently. Like, you have a court ready conversation to present. And if she refuses to engage about that, that says something too, right? Like, that you can repeat and say, hey, I didn't hear back from you about this. Can you let me know what you're thinking about homework or whatever? You know, even if she doesn't ever answer, that's an answer. Like, once you're in this app environment, everything about how you comport yourself, how you behave, is now part of the public record. It's part of what you can submit to court, which is great. So this is how you use the court system without even having to pay for a lawyer, because the court system is watching everything that happens in this app. And whether or not you ever actually go to court, it could make a huge difference to the interaction that you have. Just the idea that somebody's watching how this is happening, and that could change everything for you. And hopefully, even just the idea that somebody's watching changes it enough that you never have to go to court, which is kind of ideal, because it's extremely expensive and doesn't always really give you the results that you want. Of course, there are good reasons to go to court. Anything to do with the safety of your kids. You know, you have to use the public resources to your advantage to take care of safety issues always. But for basic, you know, custody and money and stuff like that, like, oh my gosh, you know, you can keep your $50,000 to $100,000 and do something else with it if you can. So let's talk now about what you do if you can't get the bio mom to agree. I hear this all the time. I can't tell you how many clients have said, oh yeah, I know about that, and I really want to use it, and she just said no. She doesn't get to just say no. You can take charge of this and say, this is going to happen now. You know, I have selected this court-approved program. We're going to use Talking Parents or our Family Wizard. I mean, if she's reluctant and you want to use Family Wizard, then you probably have to suck it up and pay for it. But again, it's not a huge expense. Or sign up for the free version of Talking Parents. You're going to send her an email message and a text message or a voice message and a registered letter, like snail mail, because registered letters get delivered or returned to you, with precise instructions about exactly how to sign up, how to log in, what the account password is, any of the information that she needs. You're going to keep records of having sent all of these various instructions. And then you have to stop engaging any other way. You don't answer the phone. You don't respond to voice messages. You don't respond to emails. You don't respond to anything except through the app. And it may require a few times that you write back saying, the response to this is in the app with a reminder about how to log in, but you just do it. And even the most narcissistic or borderline tending person will eventually start to become starved for the interaction that they thrive on. Like she'll use it eventually because she has to get in touch with you. And even not agreeing ever, like not ever opening it up, would also be evidence in an eventual court situation of the like uncooperative nature of this person, because you are trying to use a co-parenting app, like you're trying to do the good thing, to use a court-approved way of having pleasant, cooperative, efficient communication between the parties, and she's refusing to engage in that. It's not going to look good for her. So I think you can't lose to use one of these things. I think the benefits are phenomenal, and people have been writing things in our Spectacular Stepmom group in the last couple of days saying like the bliss of not having this constant barrage of noise all the time. Like I can't describe how wonderful this is. And I've heard that again and again and again. It really corrals the other party. I mean, generally the mom, because that's what we're talking about here. It corrals her into a place where she has to understand that, you know, it's not a free-for-all, that she can communicate whatever she needs to know or tell you or let you know or questions to ask or whatever, but that you are not available to have your phone blown up with 50 messages in a day. That's not going to happen. Like the number is blocked or whatever, and you move on. Like there's an app. We have an app. You can put your comments in the app. I'll answer anything inside of there. If you are in a position of not having a court order such that there's a court-ordered method of how to pay, you can entice someone to use the app by sending the money through the app. Good, eh? Just say, like, I'm all set up at my end. You just have to hook up your bank account, and this is the way that I'm going to transfer the money. It might even be possible that the money is already waiting in an interim account there. I'm not exactly sure if it's a direct transfer to their account or whether there's like an intermediate spot where it waits, but that can be the deal. Like money is getting sent through the app. It's how we're keeping track of it. It's a court-ordered or a court-approved method of transferring child care, child support payments, and potentially even spousal support. If you have a court order and you are obliged to send support in a certain method, you can always put extras in the app. So, you know, there are always extra little things like this field trip has come up, or here's a ski trip, or, you know, we need a new pair of boots, you have to pay half of them, or here's the orthodontist bill, whatever. You can start making the transfers for the extras through the app. So I hope that this has been helpful. I hope that you feel moved to give this a try. If you're not already using it, using an app like this, I think that really everybody should have an app. I never had the opportunity, or my husband anyway, never had the opportunity to use it. First of all, it was, 15 years ago when he got separated, and they didn't exist. This kind of thing didn't exist that long ago. But also, he wasn't having trouble with this kind of difficult communication. It was a difficult person, but in a different sort of way. Even having said that, I think I might not have I might not have looked for something that was called a co-parenting app because it was so not co-parenting what my husband and his ex were doing. It was, he was really just kind of a visitor. And then when the kids started coming here, it was like there was only one parent who was parenting, and the other one was getting random visits. So I don't know that I would have even reached out for it. So don't let it fool you that it's called a co-parenting app, because even if you are saying like this is total parallel parenting, households have nothing to do with each other, even better. I think it's just a perfect way to create a record of the communication that is acceptable in court. So if you have any questions, go ahead and pop them in. I'll be happy to answer. If you would like to set up a meeting to talk to me about one-on-one coaching, you can use this little link, bit.ly/call Tracy, and that will send you right to my calendar. And I'd be very happy to chat with you. I think that's it for today. So I will talk to you again next week. Thanks for watching.